Welcome back to History in Motion, proudly brought to you by Midas.
For about 4.5 years this far. I think the Starfinder may have a Ford Galaxy 500 because it's just big, it's brutal, it's heavy, it's just a spectacular racing event. That's a difficult one because my father hasn't raced in this car for about 15 years. But if he went out, I'm sure he could be a little bit slower than me, but not by much. Probably this car, I'd say. Porsche, because VPW stands for Volkswagen Porsche. It was called the VPW single-seater. It was a Formula V, one of the first Formula Vs out there.
Really special treat for the crowd who came out on this chilly winter's day to enjoy some great racing at Kyalami. Craig Shorter brought his fabulous Renault Formula 3000 out to play, and it really did light up the track. With the crowd looking on, the drivers are preparing for the longest and possibly the most challenging race of the day. The 1-hour endurance race, which starts in daylight and ends in total darkness. It really tests driver and the car. Great fun and enjoyed by all, with a great assortment of cars from all classes taking part.
After your non-finish at Swartkops, have you got it ready for today?
Yeah, we have. We actually put in a lot of work into the car. We were busy for about a week straight trying to get all the bits and pieces ready. New alternator, new oil plugs, sender units. So hopefully it's going to work today. We hopefully don't run out of electricity. So.
Let's have a look at how they will line up. In pole position is the Lucky Strike Chevron B19 with Peter Jenkins at the wheel, later to be handed over to Colin Ellison. Second on the grid, JP Bridanon, Dino Scribante third, Ross Lazarus fourth, and Jeff Gable in his Lotus in fifth. The field comes round for the rolling start. The lights go out and they're off. Lazarus floors it and gets the jump on both Scribante and Jenkins and takes an early lead. JP Bridanon was unable to start in the Tiga due to an oil leak they were unable to fix in time. The field of 11 Lotuses, 7 historic saloon cars and 8 sports and GT cars stream through turn 1. Looking back from the iron on board, you'll see just how close Jenkins and Scribante are behind Lazarus. Great shots as they pursue him down the back straight and into sunset. Coming into Clubhouse and Jenkins makes his move. Scribante looks to go through as well. Going down the straight and heading to the S's, and Lazarus hangs onto the back of Scribante's Porsche. Coming down the hill to turn 14, and Stefan Pushaves, who started in 17th, is making his way up the field as he passes Neville Reed and heads onto the start-finish straight. Ross Lazarus leads this group of cars out of the mine shaft and into the bowl. What's that? Rob Gearing losing the back of his car, spinning it and heading off into the gravel. He manages to keep the car moving though and steers it round to eventually rejoin the track. Coming out of turn 3, and it's Willem Brits in the BP Porsche ahead of Rowan Theron in the orange and green Porsche 914. Looking back from the BP Porsche 911R, we see the power he has on the straights. Brian Hasty and his immaculate Mini Cooper S is right behind Tehran as they enter sunset. Looking back from Brits, we see Hasty make a move, but he doesn't quite have the speed yet. Into the S's they go, and Hasty has another look, but no luck this time. As he was unable to qualify, Franco Scribante started from the back of the grid, and he's busy picking his way up through the field in his wonderful orange and white Mustang. Side by side, the Lotus and the Porsche enter the bowl. Glover manages to keep his Lotus ahead of Pushaves for now. Steven Neofitu in his yellow Mini 1275 GTS is going slowly and being passed by a gaggle of Lotuses led by Neil McLeod and Neville Reed with Johan Nel just behind them. Up into West Bank, and Jenkins has hit traffic as he comes into the battle between Pushaves and Glover, who are passing Brian Rowlings in his VW Golf. He manages to get through clearly. Heading into the bowl, Dave Lation in his new Sirocco makes his way for the flying Chevron B19. The number 44 Birkin 7 of James Derbyshire is retiring due to a broken lead from the coil to the distributor. The pit stops have started.
I don't know what's happened to Dino. He seemed to, he was on my backside, and then he seemed to fall off a little bit. I was pushing reasonably hard, but it's not my car, so I wasn't pushing right to the limit.
With the leaders in the pits, Dino Scribante stays out a little longer in his Porsche and hopes to gain an advantage as he comes up to lap Ian Morgan in his Mercedes. Franco Scribante's in for some more fuel in his Mustang.
We had to start right at the back because we didn't qualify today, so it's always a problem, and the front guys get away, and by the time, well, you don't even get there, they're gone, you know.
In comes Willem Brits in the BP Porsche 911R to hand over to Dad Quibus. Dave Lation is having a great run in his new Sirocco.
Jeez, it's hot in there.
And the car's going well.
Unbelievable, like the brakes, everything, it's brilliant.
Neil McLeod brings his Pure Consulting Birkin in for his mandatory pit stop and a chance to catch his breath. The Lindenberg Racing GT40 gets ready to leave the pits and continue racing into the night. An enthusiastic thumbs up from Rowan Tehran as things are going better than last time out.
Chevron's a little bit too quick for me at the moment, but we've got about 25 minutes to go, so we'll see what happens, huh?
Oh no! We have a car stopped on the start-finish straight, and this will most certainly bring out the safety car as the marshals retrieve that car. It's the number 62 Alpha of Jan Jacobs.
The alternator wires came loose, there was no more power, and therefore the car just stalled, and I'm out for the day. I'm stuck in the middle of a track. My first time that I called a safety car, but it should also happen, I think.
So the safety car is out, and this will bunch the field right back up again. Brian Hasty, pit stop complete, is ready to head back out onto the track, the pit lane marshal reminding him that his lights have to be on and working before he leaves. In the pits, a few of the Lotuses catch their breath before heading out for the final stint in this wonderful one-hour race. As the field is picked up by the safety car and bunches back together again, this plays into the hands of Dino Scribante as the Chevron team realize they will have incurred a 30-second penalty as they had to push start the car in the pits after the start motor gave up. With only 20 minutes of racing left, it is a tall order to pull out such a big margin, but I'm sure they'll try. Into the pits comes the MG Youth Program MGA with Cameron McLeod at the wheel. The broken Alpha is towed off the track and racing will resume shortly. A beautiful moon shines down on Kyalami and hopefully lights the track a bit as the drivers prepare to get racing again, and the light has faded fast. The green flag is waved and the cars will accelerate back up to racing speed and the battle shall continue. The bright headlights blind us as the cars head into turn 1. Wonderful shot of the back straight and the Goodyear Bridge with lights twinkling in the background. Up at Clubhouse, and Colin Ellison is powering his way into the S's. The lights of Jeff Gable navigate his tail on Motorsport Birkin, round turn 3 and 4 and onto the back straight. Brits and Andreas Letnik light the track ahead of Colin Ellison in the Chevron B19, who is rapidly catching them as we near the closing stages of the race. On board now with Kubis Brits down the back straight. He keeps left and lets the faster car of Colin Ellison through into sunset. You really do get a different perspective of the track at night as we watch Ellison prepare to pass another car in front of him. That's the Mini of Steven Neofita that Ellison is passing as he heads toward the S's. Kubis Brits comes up on the Mini and passes him too. Ross Lazarus leads Colin Ellison around the final bend and towards the checkered flag. Ellison takes the victory on the track, but due to their 30-second penalty, he will end up with second as he was only able to pull 14 seconds on Dino Scribante. Peter Jenkins got the fastest lap of the race on lap 3 with a time of 1 minute 50 seconds, .201. Ross Lazarus had some problems with his lights during the race, and this lost him some time. Dave Lation took his maiden win in historic saloon cars, and with it being his first outing in his new Sirocco, it was rather impressive. The Lotuses put an impressive performance, with Jeff Gable winning the class and finishing third overall with John Glover in fourth. Confirmation of the results then, and due to their penalty, Colin Ellison and Peter Jenkins dropped to second, giving Dino Scribante the win. Stefan Pushavez came home third in class. Jeff Gable finishing third overall and winning the Lotus class.
Chevron around here it really is just too quick, and I was trying to keep as close a gap as I could, hoping one of them would
driver's quicker?
We'll leave that for another time. But yeah, hoping the guys, would make a mistake or something, but they didn't, and unfortunately to them, I think they got a pit stop penalty or something silly that cost them. But yeah, I mean, look, well done to Colin and Pete. They drove brilliantly, and I'll take a win when it comes, eh?
Thank you to Colin for his generosity of letting me drive with him. My car broke down yesterday, and it's just unbelievable the camaraderie that we have amongst the competitors here for somebody to say just come and drive with me. So thanks, Colin, and well done to Dino. We'll get him next time though.
I think Pete breaks his car on purpose just to drive a decent one. But
that was good fun. It's great fun.
Hey, we had a bit of gearbox issues towards the end. I think you broke second for us, but it's fine. And yeah, we had a bit of a hiccup. We planned for the starter motor to break at the pit stop, so we we're going to keep it idling, but we forgot. So it's our fault.
It's wonderful to race a whole hour here at Kyalami. It's a little bit challenging as the sun goes down, and then you realize you shouldn't worry about the sunset, because when it's dark, it's even more challenging.
There was a lot of dust tonight. It was really, really challenging to see, but it's a lovely track, and you get into a rhythm. It's great.
Absolutely. I think I came third overall, John fourth overall. We had a good contingent of Lotuses here. As I say, the track all day was in great shape. We had that wonderful moon pop up. Really, just a lovely ride on a Saturday evening.
Yeah, you can't get a better way to spend a Saturday evening.
That's it from round 4 of the Midas Historic Tour. Join us next month for some thrilling action from Vakisa. History in Motion is proudly brought to you by Midas Sport and its associate sponsors.